I'm writing this on the fly because I want to put something on the channel while I work on the longer videos. The sudden thoughts I'm having will be spoiler heavy as all of this occurs after Perfect Origin arc, but I also have a little bit of news to share with you. In July 2024, Kinnikuman started its sequel anime adaptation called Kinnikuman Perfect Origin arc, which streams on Netflix. Currently, Kinnikuman is about halfway through the Perfect Origin arc with a third and fourth season on the way. The manga goes on for a lot longer, and I decided to look at it again. I read all of this once before, and that's the key word here. Once. When I first talked about Kinnikuman 2011, a lot of those chapters were barely getting translated, so there were gaps which affected the flow of the story for English readers. It's been more than 8 years since I last looked at these chapters, and it's better than I remembered, but there were also things I overlooked and can now fully see with a more critical and observant eye. The Omega Centauri 6 Spears arc might be the best written arc of the series, and that's because of its message of friendship power and how it's utilized as an actual energy source. In the field of battle shonen, this arc does its best to convey why certain people have this power and prove that it's not convenient plot armor. There's legitimate reasons why good people have access to it and why vengeful people don't. It's not a simple black and white approach either, as the Omega Centaurians care deeply for one another, but that's also a problem. Their empathy is limited to a tiny circle, while Kinnikuman and other Justice Children show mercy to everyone. The whole arc is from the perspective of anger-filled victims that can't move away from their past. Their grudge consumes them, but their people have always been, well, murderers. Their whole culture were taught to hate, thereby they would never consider cooperation as an option. Just about any attempt they use to save their dying planet immediately resorts to hurting others for their benefit. The concept of kindness is foreign and unbelievable to them. When this arc started, I felt bad for the C-lister Justice Children because reading it now in my mid-30s as opposed to my mid-20s, I was getting reminded of the pessimistic parts of Nisei. I thought they deserved to win because these first bouts are pretty much a horror story. Despite people wanting to change and working for that goal, it still amounted to nothing. At least that's what I thought at first. Even with their losses, their battles gradually got closer and closer to victory. The resistance to adversity resonates with the heroes that remain. Even the ones that died still contributed in some form. I did even pick up how Curry Cook's reluctance to use friendship power mirrors the Omega Centaurians. When I read this years ago, I was more distracted by the return of the Kinnikuman princes and the spectacle. I was overlooking the depths of the story, but that's the benefit of being able to read the manga arc when it's completed instead of when it first came out. Getting back on topic with the brutal deaths, this had to happen because it shows the Omegas are a group of hypocritical killers despite their claims at noble intentions. Again, this goes into how acceptance, benevolence, and empathy are just not in their heads at all. They did get access to a sample of friendship power and burning inner strength, but it pales in comparison to children who want to save the lives of other people. On more than one occasion, the Six Spears keep prioritizing killing their enemies instead of trying to rescue their own people. And these three arcs from different series all go in hand together. It's very satisfying how the theme of redemption plays a big role with nearly every character, whether it's the Justice Children or the Kinnikuman Princess. Everybody gets death on par with the previous Perfect Origin arc. But it's just a beautiful resolution when Omega Man Aristera realizes the folly of his ways. Aristera meets the person he was taught to hate all of his life and then learns that he was wrong about him. Alright, I forgot about Satan. It almost feels like he didn't need to be in this arc, but he sort of has to in order to properly segue the arrival of the Choushin and the involvement of the 5 evil gods. Satan is absent for the majority of the arc, despite starting it, but he functions better as a story device than an actual character. Without Satan, this sentence wouldn't resonate the same impact. I don't know if Yuta Tamago are saving Satan for later. There's definitely some mystery with this guy which I don't think has been properly explained. There's evidence that he's not a god, but as a villain he kinda sucks being one, more so when he keeps getting retconned in some way with Akama Shogun. If Satan is meant for something greater, it would have to be very endgame. I know he wanted to infiltrate the Choushin graveyard and likely steal a Capillaria piece, but for what exactly? Was his goal to become a god? Did he want to kill all the other gods? Take control over heaven? Did he know what the God of Time was doing at this point in the story? I don't know. If this is set up for a payoff, then it's going to be One Piece levels of waiting. But I also wouldn't be surprised if Satan never comes back. Meanwhile, in the Choushin arc, it felt surprisingly fast-paced. I think this was because some of the Choushin were kind of flat characters when compared to the Perfect Origin and the Perfect Large Numbers. Things change once we get to the Tower of Babel, but before that, every new foe was just serviceable. I think the opening match also plays a part to this speedy tone, since multiple fights occurred in rapid succession. The adrenaline did not let up in these chapters. It was also exciting to see old faces feel new. Kinnikuman Big Body was probably the MVP of this arc. But just about everybody got redeemed in some way. The beginning of this arc feels like a smaller scale Perfect Origin arc. It's very 2.0, as instead of the 7 Devil Choushin, now we're getting help from other villains from Scramble for the Throne. Not every single teammate has appeared, but the majority of Big Body's and Super Phoenix's team took the spotlight. Despite repeating a formula, I have no problems with this. Minor characters are getting more characterization and their abilities are significantly improved. It's just as emotional as the earliest 2011 chapters. It's good stuff. Kinnikuman has not failed me at all. The Tower of Babel section was better to read right now because when these chapters were first released, they came out of order for some reason. No idea what was going on behind the scenes with the scanlation groups. More so when the series keeps changing hands somehow. But I thank each and every one of you who's worked on the manga because we still don't have an official release. Like before, the remainder of the Choushin arc excels in developing every character to the point where some made unpredictable yet engaging decisions. After not having read it for so long, it felt very fast, and I'm not sure why. I think the chapters are about the same length as Perfect Origin arc, unless each fight was 2 chapters shorter than the average fight or something. I'm not alone on this, right? The Choushin stuff felt very fast to me. I can almost imagine each fight being a single episode and maybe an episode and a half. Maybe it's because after reading the dialogue-heavy Six Spears arc, the arc afterwards just felt a lot faster? I don't know. The manga has been incredibly good, and I've tried to keep spoilers to a minimum. I didn't give everything away, like such as what Choushins actually are or what secrets they're keeping. But stuff is crazy right now, and I think I need another year before I start talking about the present day chapters. Here's some quick news. Well, this is where I was going to post some Kinnikuman related news, because I'm not sure if the anime is going to end this weekend. I'm posting this video on Friday, March 28th, and Sunday, March 30th might be the final episode of Season 2, at least according to my anime list, but I don't know for sure. Then there should be news on the release date of Season 3, and I can't grab things from the future and edit it here, nor do I want to re-upload or delay the video. So I'm going to wait and gather up the news portion for a different video at a later time. And if you're curious where some of these visuals came from, they all originate from the 2019 Kinnikuman 40th Anniversary PV, which was done by Graphinica. It mainly consists of panorama shots with a few bits of animation. Unfortunately, I don't recommend watching it unless you already read most of the Omega Centauri 6 Spears arc, because it spoils everything, including Perfect Origin arc. But if you want to see it anyways, there's a link in the description box or in the pinned comments. I apologize for my abrupt departure, so thank you to my patrons for supporting me on Patreon. And thank you for watching my channel, The Anime Hero. I hope to make more consistent videos in the future. Bye!